to start paying down debt. We have a lot of debt. We're going to start paying down debt. We have such potential in this country.
So how is that going? Not great, to say the least, as the national debt passed $22 trillion for the first time ever on Tuesday. The national debt began to level off at the beginning of the Trump administration, but jumped again after the 2017 Republican tax cuts went into effect. So joining me right now for more on this and what it really means is Allison Cossack. It's great to see you, Allison. So in 2016, the president did very famously promise to pay off the national debt in, I think his time frame was 8 years. That's not happening. Is it possible he could be turning this around now?
That's a really good question, Kate. It's hard to see how this trend can be reversed at this point, now that President Trump has set some wheels in motion, which expand the national debt, like proposals for border wall funding and tax cuts. You know, just to give you a little perspective, the nation's debt level was around $19 trillion when Trump took office, but has now topped a record $22 trillion for the first time. And the ballooning national debt isn't only tied to this administration, though, so a little perspective there for you as well. It's really been rising. It's been increasing over the last century, but it's been rising at a faster clip since the financial crisis in 2008, when the Obama administration and Congress approved stimulus funding to prop up the economy. But then, interestingly enough, you see how it leveled off here right when President Trump took office, but then it jumped again after his tax cuts took effect in 2017 and the lower corporate tax rate reduced revenues coming into the Treasury. So now the question is, unless the red fiscal tide is reversed through higher taxes, massive spending cuts, or an explosion in economic growth, the prediction is public debt will balloon by 2029, climbing to 93% of the U.S. economy compared to 78% where it is right now. So what's the significance of that? Well, in the long run, it could mess with growth. Large public debt can drive up interest rates, which make components of economic expansion more expensive. I'm talking about loans, like mortgages and business growth. So that affects every consumer in this country.
And there are new numbers out about personal debt that the Fed is now sounding the alarm about. Why?
Yeah, and these are actually pretty disturbing when you look at this. It's troubling because we've got such a strong economy right now. The amount of debt that Americans are carrying moved higher to a record $13.5 trillion at the end of last year. This includes housing debt, student loan, auto loans, and credit cards. The Fed warns that it could signal a downturn is on the horizon. An example for you, a whopping 7 million Americans are 90 days or more behind on their auto payments. That's 1 million more during the financial crisis. So the sky isn't falling, Kate, but this is something to be aware of, that this is all happening now.
Yeah, especially in this economy, and that's the whole point. Great to see you, Allison. Thanks for laying it out for us. I really appreciate it. And thank you all so much for joining me today.